All right. Great news. Topuria just confirmed that he's going to be fighting on the 28th, aka UFC 317, aka International Fight Week. Now, he also said during that, he says he hopes he's going to make everyone happy again on June 28th because this was announced when he was supposed to receive some sort of reward or whatever on some Spanish thing, and he said he couldn't make it there because he was during preparation. Now, I could be reading too deeply into this, but saying that I hope to make you guys happy again, he could be implying that it's not Makhachev, but it'll be a good fight regardless, whether it's Armin or Oliveira. Now, I could be just, like I said, reading too deeply into it. I don't know. But all signs are pointing towards Makhachev moving up. Now, Topuria relinquished his title, and he said he was guaranteed a title shot. And Topuria is not Aspinall. He's not going to fuck around. He's not going to say, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. I'll get an interim and then defend it 3 times. No. Topuria demands and calls what his shots, and he gets them. He's seen what Chandler and Aspinall are doing, just patiently waiting. No, you don't do that shit. And I think that if Makhachev decides to go up, because I'm pretty sure Makhachev was saying something about he was starting training or something about his next fight. No. Let's say all goes to plan and Bilal wins. I think Makhachev will postpone his plans. I think there's no clear cut contender at 155 aside from Armin, and they're just not high on Armin right now for whatever reason. I think Armin should get it if Topuria doesn't, but it is what it is. Let's say Makhachev goes up and Bilal loses, right, and he goes to fight JDM. I believe that Makhachev, if he relinquishes the title, he's done at 55 for good. So I think if anyone deserves a title shot aside from Topuria, it would be Armin. 2 reasons. He beat Oliveira, which, argue all you want, he beat him. Second thing is, look at Oliveira's last fight. He couldn't finish Chandler. He beat Chandler their first time, right? Between their first fight and their second fight, Chandler took metric fuck tons of damage. So if anything, you would think that it would be even easier to beat him. He did. And then Patty dog walked him, right? So what does that tell you about Oliveira and where he's at right now? I get Oliveira technically has a better name value than Armin Tsarukyan, but if you look at it from a rankings perspective and a fight logistic perspective, I think if Topuria goes up against Oliveira, I think it's done in round 1. Oliveira gets touched by Poirier, drops. Gets touched by Makhachev, drops. Gets touched by Gaethje, drops. And that's the thing. These guys, none of those guys are pillow fists by any means. They all have good power. But at the same time, Oliveira is very, 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 very damaged goods. To the point where, like I said, I wouldn't trust them to go past 1 round with Topuria. And that's not being disrespectful. It is what it is. Topuria, 10 pounds that he doesn't have to cut. Like he said, he feels so much better at 55. He wasn't even performing at 100% at 45. He's not going to be 100% at 55. Well, close to as 100% as you can get without cutting weight completely. Because he is a heavy guy. He's not that tall, but he's heavy. He's dense. So I think if they want a spectacle, a war, a complete crazy showdown, I think you do Armin versus Topuria. That's if Makhachev's not, going up to 170. Makhachev stays, obviously, no-brainer, Makhachev versus Topuria, because, like I said, they don't want to give Armin the title shot because he popped it up. Is what it is. I wouldn't think that way if I was running the UFC, but, it is what it is. Now, let's say Topuria goes and fights Makhachev, right? I think that's a stellar card. I think, obviously, you add a few more fights into there. You add some contender fights. I don't know who would be willing to turn around this quickly. It's not that quick, but I don't know if we can get the names of an Adesanya or, a Pereira or someone like that. So I think what you do is with Makhachev and Topuria, it'll be a lot easier to build the card. You still put it good matchups, but it kind of sells itself. It's one of those. It's kind of UFC's kind of going that boxing route where it's like the huge main event, and then it's just like whatever on the rest of the card. Obviously, I think they're talking about the 125 belt, but I don't really give two fucks about that. I think if anything, you give the 125 belt, you put that on the Chimaev Dricus card, bump that up a bit, because obviously, like I said, that fight sells itself as well, but it'll need a bit more help than just Topuria Makhachev. Topuria Makhachev is a super fight. And Chimaev Dricus is a really, really hype fight, really, really high profile fight, but I don't think it's like super, super fight, because I don't think Dricus is like a superstar, which he should be, but for whatever reason he isn't. I don't know why that is. He is a really good trash talk, really good fights. Not the cleanest style, but he gets the job done. I just think, if anything, what I would do if I'm the UFC, I would say, hey, Aspinall, if we're going to do the Jones fight, it's going to be one date. I think we all know when it's going to be. I think if John Jones is fighting Tom Aspinall, it's going to be New York in November. Obviously, that's not written in stone, but if I had to guess, John likes to go fight New York. And I'm sure the president would go there, and I think that would be a whole spectacle itself in Madison Square Garden. I think John Jones wants Tom Aspinall to be inactive, so he has the best chance of beating him. If I'm Tom Aspinall, and that's the thing, I know it's defending an interim, so UFC better pay up, give him an extra $1 million or $2 million, and put him, so you got Ilia Topuria versus either Islam Makhachev or Arman. And obviously, it would be more inclined to do this if it was Arman as opposed to Makhachev. If it's Makhachev, you could probably give it a later date, but at the same time, you want Tom Aspinall to be active, whether it's the next pay-per-view, like the Ilia Topuria one, or the one after that. I think you do Aspinall versus Cyril Gane on the undercard. And I know, what? Heavyweight underneath lightweight? What? Listen up, right? It's an interim. So you can't put it above a legit undisputed belt. That's the issue. Not only that, I think, like, Tom Aspinall's not getting any younger. I think you got to do something with him. You got to do something with him now, because I was watching one of his recent YouTube videos, and even his dad, he's starting to get pissed off. It's like, it's just frustrating not having any target, not having any goal, And sure, he runs like fight sims, I'm sure, in his gym and all that, but I just don't think it's good enough as opposed to like under the bright lights. And I think if anyone should be fighting in this summer card, it should be Aspinall. Get your money while you can. Don't just sit on the sidelines with John Jones, because you've seen what dumbass Chandler's been doing. Ruined his career, because he literally took off the remaining possible prime years of his career, and now he's just getting battered by everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, Tom Aspinall, that's the dumbest thing you can do, is sit on the sidelines till November for John Jones. Dumbest thing. Because not only that, heavyweight, Aspinall, you don't have to cut any weight, right? And you're always in the gym. I'm pretty sure Cyril Gane is always in the gym too. If not, he's always in decent shape. Like, you don't ever see Cyril Gane like bloated or fat or whatever. And people are like, oh, well, Volkov kind of beat down Cyril Gane. You really want to see Volkov fucking Aspinall again? Come on, bruh. So let's be honest. So I think what you do for International Fight Week is you do Ilia Topuria versus Makhachev. If not, you do him versus Arman Tsarukyan. And then, you know what? Speaking of Oliveira, give Oliveira Patty. Let's do that. That'd be a good fight. Put that on one of the cards in the summer as well. If not, maybe in the fall, like September-ish, right? And then, this way, you get a super fighter International Fight Week. And then you get Tom Aspinall staying busy, right? And then throw that fucking 125 fight on the Dricus Kamzat card. I don't really give a shit to watch the 125ers. I'll be honest. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Like, all respect to them. Like, they train hard or whatever. Anytime there's a 125 fight, I'm always just on my phone. I'm always just distracted. I can't pay attention. I don't know what it is. Maybe the fact that there's 0 stars. Maybe the fact that it's just They're so small. I don't know. You know, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck about that title at all. And everyone, I think everyone, especially when they're like, everyone pretends to be a Mighty Mouse fan, like all the new guys. It's like, there's a reason why UFC sent him off, bro. None of you guys gave a fuck when he was there. And now just because they read the record, it's like, oh, look at his record. His record's really nice. Let's all be fans of him. Nice try. You know, I think Ilia Topuria even said, he's like, I was not a fan of Mighty Mouse. I'm sorry. Like, that's the thing. You know, you want to be a hardcore and love every single division, every single, you know, men's fights, women's fights, all that. That's not me. I'm sorry. I care about the super fights. You know, I care about the competitive fights, the name fights. I just don't care about the 125 division. I'm sorry. So I think you do Aspinall versus Gane on the co-main. Boom, you got an international fight card. Figure out the undercard a bit more. But yeah, that to me, that's a no-brainer. And I think that's good enough to cap off the International Fight Week for sure. And yeah, that's my thoughts on this recent news. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. See you guys next time.